Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, joy for the good guys in the LBK, misery and pain for our enemies.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. And thanks as always for making us your first listen. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet only $5, and if your bet hits, you're getting $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So download the FanDuel app today with the only Chris Level. I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you, kicking off a new week, and now with round one of the college football playoff in our rear view. Want to get to assessing some of those results, and of course, now we know for certain what it'll be. January 1 in Miami, it's Red Raiders and Ducks. We'll get to all of the above coming up in just a moment. First, to kick off the conversation, we're back to the NYC. It's Red Raiders over Blue Devils, number 3 in the nation, unbeaten, 17-point lead, Madison Square Garden. I'm going to be yelling if I keep building this thing up soon. Chris, what an amazing experience. Congrats to Coach McCaslin. As I said in my instant reaction following the game on Saturday night, guts is the word that comes to mind, man. How about you?
This made no sense whatsoever, and yet it made perfect sense. I think if Duke probably is at fault for watching that Northern Colorado tape from a few days earlier last week and going, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun up at the Mecca. We're gonna do mean things to the old Red Raiders. No, you did mean things for a while, but no. Yeah. All kidding aside, again, this was improbable. This was exactly why we love this stuff so much. This was Houston at Houston last year. I mean, I'm telling you, like a Grant McCaslin coach team that is depleted, that is counted out. Boy, they're a mean animal in the corner. I mean, they are. They're going to show you those teeth, and there's some spit coming out, and like they're just over there sharper than their nails because, I mean, they're going to come out. But the basketball part of this, Callan, man, we know the foul trouble. We know the no Luke Bomboye. I don't know how long that's going to be. I thought there's some big takeaways here that I wonder how much this carries forward, namely Tyree Bryan playing 3 minutes, making a couple of defensive mistakes, and then not coming back into the game at all, even when you probably could have used him 1 or 6 times or somebody like him. But maybe those names are now Leon Horner and Nolan Groves. I don't know.
Kind of represents what we saw Coach McCaslin suggest, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you've been warned.
Yes.
I think he laid it out there. That's right. And I'm not saying that the other night he was specifically pointing to Tyree Bryan, but on this night, I think, because Leon, they played a combined, the two of them played a combined 25 minutes. They committed 8 fouls, 6 points for 4 rebounds. But that doesn't really tell the story. The story is, man, this is a lot to ask these kids that are young, that are inexperienced, and they are in the world's most famous arena. It's called the Mecca. It is sold out. I mean, there is no bigger stage. It does not exist in college basketball. Even in my opinion, this is a bigger deal than what you would do at the Final Four in front of 70,000. Because the people that have walked through that building and have shined and have been immortalized, and so to throw 2 kids out there against the second or third rate team in the country that hadn't lost a game And they're, I mean, and hey, man, Nolan shot an air ball. You just can only imagine the nerves there, man. I can't even. But they handled it. They calmed down. They took the cue from their coach, and then I don't want to bury the lead here, but like Christian Anderson, he's everything I just talked about a second ago. Like, he rose to the occasion. That building pulls it out of certain people at certain times. And you get talked about differently because of what you do in that building. And I think C4 is certainly a perfect example of that.
If I told you 19-10 for Toppin, not a bad day. If I told you one of your starters is only 3 minutes on the board at the end of the day, 0 points, and then I'm telling you you're beating number 3 Duke, I'm probably being called a liar at the end of all of that. But that's exactly what we saw play out. And I just have to credit Coach McCaslin and his staff and some of those leaders on the floor, Chris, because, again, you got to dig down deep. It's not just like, hey, let's tip it off and try and stay competitive. And, of course, Tech got off to a decent start. I knew Duke would find a way to claw their way back into it, and they certainly did. But it's not just that. It's then you get into the game, and, man, our nose is bloodied and our eyes swollen up, and it's a 17-point advantage, and you still continue to compete. And I think those are some of those intangibles that we've been talking about. I don't know if it was Friday or maybe Thursday, but I had on the screen something about urgency or whatever. Well, that's what it was. We saw it, and it was there for one team down the stretch, and it wasn't for the other.
And this team this year will now forever be changed because of what went on at MSG. I don't know what they'll do with it, but they are now on the other side. And what I mean by that is they've got now the old ace of spades in their back pocket that anytime their coach needs to remind them, you can do this. It's in there, boys. Like, I've seen it. Mr. Cowan has seen it. We've all seen it. The country saw it, and you build off of that, and you get confidence from that. You're going to be in some hostile road environments this year, but this is, and so I think you probably grew up. This particular team did, and I think that should be noted. I think that we'll see what they do with it. I think the Duke game back in 2018 was a pivotal moment for that team's season, and that was in a loss. I think there were some things said after that game to each other when you're kind of headed to Christmas break. When we, and again, that kind of spilled into January, but I think there were so many times where those kids talked about that Duke game is kind of where we saw and that was Zion Williamson and all those guys, on the Garden floor that night. But you got a whole bunch of draft picks this night against Duke too. Like Nolan Groves from old Minnesota, averaging 30 a game, hadn't played, much at all. And he's guarding arguably one of, if not the top player in the country in Cam Boozer. I mean, of course he is.
They never saw it coming, Chris. They never saw it coming.
No. He's given up like 4 inches of height, length, all that stuff, but not heart, not want to. And Grant McCaslin, he's told this story before, that because the point that you were trying to lay out is really about your head coach here, and just like, how does he get these kids to believe? How does he get them to not roll their eyes and go, yeah, man, it's not happening for us tonight. So Grant because I would say that you have a guy running your basketball program and a guy running your football program right now that were put on this earth to do exactly what they're doing right now. But Grant said, I think this was last football season, and I heard Grant tell the story. He's like, man, I'm in the training room over on like the centrally located aspect of campus or whatever, maybe over the football building or whatever it was. And it was either after the Baylor game last year or the Colorado game last year. And those were games that you lost and you didn't play well. I don't know which one it was, but Grant's like talking about Joey, and he's like, I'm over there, and Saturday after a football game, you go in there on a Sunday, and I think he was checking on one of his guys, I gather, and he goes, it can be a mass unit, but I go in there, and you get all kinds of football players. He goes, and Joey's in there, and he's just bouncing around, and he's positive. He's engaging with every single one of his guys, and there's no wavering, there's no disbelief, there's no faltering, it's easy to kind of question yourself, doubt yourself, kind of be mopey ass, like Bob Knight used to say, after a loss. That's not what you have with these guys. They show their frustration. They get mad and angry, but both of them are they just pour into these kids, and they have a way to connect with them to where these kids actually believe it. They want to believe it, and now they have proof of process. That's the best thing. So you have two guys, man, that are really, really phenomenal and elite at what they do in today's athlete, and that should be mentioned because Grant, he's a hell of a coach, but it's that intangible that you were talking about. I think that's the difference in a game like this.
Go find us at Locked On Tech and see the post-game video that they put out and we retweeted that's outlining for about, I think, 1 minute and 20 seconds exactly what you're saying. The message post-game from Grant McCasland was encompassing all of what you were just describing, including let's not do anything stupid over Christmas break. And let's get back together on the other side. Before we get to football, just a couple more thoughts, Chris. I'm sure, like, I could speak for a lot of Red Raiders at the end of that one. You're thrilled, and also
First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, and football is in full force, and FanDuel's keeping you stocked with action every game day with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet only $5, and if your bet hits, you're getting $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Any way you like it, FanDuel has you covered. Quick, easy, and secure every time. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
I'm sure, like, I could speak for a lot of Red Raiders at the end of that one. You're thrilled, and also I think there's a sigh of relief in a way that you were actually able to get one of these huge non-conference opportunities, and I would say one of the two biggest non-conference opportunities because of the stage, probably the biggest. I mean, with all due respect to Purdue, probably the biggest. So I'm like exhaling a little bit resume-wise or just credibility-wise as a program this year. And I'm also thinking, as you alluded to, and I get what you were saying about the stage and, Final Four and things like that. So sort of in that same vein, I know the achievement can't be there as compared to like a Sweet 16 banner or Elite 8 or Final Four, yada, yada. We get that. But I got to think this is a singular top 3, top 5 all-time kind of win for this basketball program. My math, I'm probably missing something. Those numbers probably don't add up, but you get what I'm saying. I don't really know how to frame this historically other than on a very short list of singular impressive wins.
Yeah, you've beaten, Louisville up there. You've beaten Tennessee up there. But yeah, as far as non-conference wins, I think that you felt like you had a big one, a big opportunity when Kentucky and Calipari came, during that Big 12 SEC Challenge a few years ago. That didn't work out, but I don't disagree. Duke had won 9 games in a row with the Garden. This is an annual thing for them. They've played, I think, probably close to 60 games there, maybe even more than that all time as a program. This is kind of they call it Cameron North, I think. Because it's just this is an annual deal, and the crowd was big time lopsided, but there were plenty of Red Raiders up there. But yeah, I just think it's context. Plus, they're undefeated. They were undefeated. I mean, that's the other thing here is that. This is a win that will pay some serious dividends. We hope it grows your team. That's what we're talking about here. We hope that these kids now view the world differently because they've done it now. They've achieved it. They know what it takes on the absolute biggest of stages. But this is also a win that, as you mentioned, it'll pay some dividends come Selection Sunday. I mean, Duke's net ranking, I think, was like 2 or 3, depending on where you looked. I don't, at the time that you and I are sitting here talking, I don't know what and you were like 28, I think. You will vault, but this is one that mean, some were even arguing last night after the day's games that all went final. If this was, you mentioned an all-timer for Texas Tech, but this could have been the most impressive win for anybody all season. I think there were some people pointing to Iowa State beating the aforementioned Purdue, which that's at Purdue, and I probably would maybe tip my cap to that just a titch just because of how they did it. This was just, though, this is in the conversation because it was so improbable, because you're down 17. But like back on Christian Anderson, he only scored, I think, 4 points in the first half. He scores 23 in the second, but he's the one that joysticked this game and this team to the win. Yes, he of all the people that are wired for an environment or a stage like this, it's him. I mean, this is just how he's wired for pro moves in a pro building. I mean, I think was involved either scoring or assisting on, I think, 25 or 26 of your final 31 points. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's pretty good.
I mean, it just like the haymakers he's throwing from the 3-point line. And it wasn't perfect. He kind of melted into the ground toward the end and kind of lost the ball. And, and then, the free throws, because let's see here. Yeah, he was 4-6 at the stripe. He did hit the game winner. But it was just the haymakers that he's throwing. I mean, they would have been enough to knock out Jake Paul, like we saw on a Friday night. This was. But I am curious. I will say this before we wrap all. I am curious where you go from here. You got Winthrop coming up, and like, what's Tyree Bryan doing? What's Leon Horner doing? What's Nolan Groves doing? How long is Luke Bomboye going to be out? I don't know. We got as these seasons are long. We got a long way to go, but we got a lot to still figure out. But I do know this: you got a hell of a head coach. You got a hell of a belief in a group, and you've got a really good point guard and a really good forward and Lawan Watts too, man. We're starting to see it, buddy. And you foul out with 11:33 to go and they still win. Makes no sense. But he is starting to play some big boy basketball. He's starting to put some games together here. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, 20 on the board, and he fouled out with 11:33 to go. So
yeah. And yet the Duke fans were complaining about the officiating. That was my favorite. I love Duke. Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski wasn't going to save you on this night, man.
Yeah, the entire college basketball world caters to the Duke Blue Devils, and we just happened to accidentally upset that apple cart on Saturday. Our bad, boys. It was Texan with the Mob in celebratory fashion on Saturday night, and I think one of the final thoughts I gave him was, doubt Grant McCasland at your own peril. You will not find us doing that. And I think even in some of these tough days recently, we weren't doing it. And emphasize what you're saying, because this is a great win in a singular day kind of setting. But there are so many lingering things. Now we're like, all right, where do you go? You got something that could maybe be a springboard, but you've also got some very real challenges still to deal with, whether it's injury or otherwise, moving forward. But man, what a win.
Yeah, and you if you look big picture, like over the say the next 2 to 4 weeks, there's an opportunity if you can get healthier. There's an opportunity here to really start to kind of get in a groove here. Now, there's going to be a few problems, 3 of them specifically. There's 2 games against Houston, and there's a home game against BYU over the next, I think month, but between now and say mid to close to late January. Okay. But there's some games against Oklahoma State and against Colorado and, some very winnable games too. But, again, you just can't give it back now. So we'll just kind of see what you do with this opportunity, because this should allow everybody to have a Merry Christmas. It should allow for some serious belief and confidence into what these kids are being taught. And again, now the message has been sent. Hey, if you don't do what we need, we will sit your ass down and we'll go win it anyway. And so now maybe you get a little bit more sense of urgency and all that from guys that are wanting to earn minutes, because now, again, the proof of process is there, man.
Absolutely amazing. And congrats to the Red Raiders on a massive, to say the least, kind of win in New York City. Chris, before we get out of here, let's get back to the gridiron, because we've now got round one of the college football playoff in the books, essentially translated into pain and misery for our foes and enemies.
Boomer!
First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly feel the call of the stadium. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can then splurge on foods, drinks, gear, and more. Gametime makes it all possible. And best of all, Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And if you're like me, you get tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, and that's why Gametime's Zone Deals is the go-to move, since it automatically picks the best seats in your section for you at the best price. And as always, you can get a view from your seat right there in the app, so before you buy, you know exactly what you're going to see. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. Now got round one of the college football playoff in the books, essentially translated into pain and misery for our foes and enemies.
Boomer! I don't hear anything.
What a weekend, my man. I know we were enjoying those results.
Whoop!
For a variety of
whoop, whoop. No.
Hey, and by the way, great call by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee all year long, mentioning the red zone issues of both of the teams in College Station. I can't even believe they could get in when you saw so clearly, I'm sure, all the while that they would have these problems. Or maybe it was never mentioned. I can't remember. Chris, what'd you make of it?
Texas Tech has been on the mind of many writer, player, coach, and all that of the folks in Norman over the last couple of weeks for whatever reason. I have no idea why. Haven't thought about Oklahoma all season, but roll Tide. Here we go. Yes, I enjoyed that thoroughly and probably enjoyed it more than I should have, to be honest with you. I probably feel a little guilty about how good I felt about that whole situation. But yeah, man, the great Brent Venables defense blew a 17-point lead. What's going on there? Can't figure that out. And then the whole A&M thing. there was that. Even a soldier, or even a pirate can beat a soldier. You know, it turns out a hurricane can beat a soldier too.
Congrats to the 12th man for once again making absolutely no difference whatsoever.
I mean, and I, from a football standpoint, I did enjoy that. Those were two good defenses. There was a common theme here, and it kind of spilled over into some of the other two games, the Ole Miss Tulane and James Madison Oregon too. But that is something to pay attention to going forward with the Red Raiders next game, and then all the other games. But a lot of special teams miscues. And a lot of just bizarre field goal kicking scenarios. Like at one point late in that A&M Miami game, field goal kickers between the OU and Bama game and up until that point, they were like 1 of 7.
Yeah.
I mean, and missing some easy ones. There were some blocks. There was some, like I'm going to throw my foot into the turf before I try to kick the ball, and it's not going to go very far. I mean, there was – there was just some bizarre scenarios going on, and I don't know. And you're seeing some gadgets thrown out there in these 4 games. People kind of emptying the old playbook a little bit. You got some double pass going on. You got some crazy formation going on. You got some special teams attempts on some fakes and things like that. So, but I enjoyed personally, because I know that I've seen a lot of the ish that the Maroon and folks down south, and then the Crimson folks from across the Red River have thrown your way the entire season and are still throwing it your way. But hey, man, Karma was over there just sharpening her nails, just waiting for the old time to claw back, and it happened. But you will not move forward on this night. And guess what? Neither one of you have a basketball team that just beat Duke either. So, I mean, It's all West Texas, man. It's all West Texas.
Man, so just disappointment all the way around for some fan bases? That's what you're telling me they're feeling? Okay.
I hate it. Yeah.
I forgot what it's like, to be honest with you. But, I'll take your word for it. Yeah. Best of luck this offseason, guys. I'm sure the next $200 million you throw at it will fix all your problems. It'll work this time around. No doubt about it. Talking specifically to the Aggies, the Sooners are trading like Buffalo nickels. So I don't know what you got to throw at it next time around. But what a day. And now for the Red Raiders, it is Mission Duck. I'm sure we all knew leaving Jones Stadium a few years ago. Next time we see these guys, Orange Bowl, second round of the college football playoff. Here's the rematch, right? Are we ready? 51-34, sort of an interesting score. And obviously the issue wasn't in doubt, but kind of a large number for the Dukes, I guess. If there's anything to take away from that.
Yeah, this was a 48-13 game. I think that Dan Lanning took a lot of us. I mean, we've seen these games before. You kind of you get up, you take the foot off the gas. I'm sure that's something he won't be pleased with. I think that I saw one of the I can't remember which one, but it was one of their good receivers, the older receivers after the game saying, man, usually we come in here after a win and there's music playing on that because we kind of feel like this is a loss. So they're gonna, I'm sure that there's gonna be, and James Madison moved the ball. They did run a lot of gadgets and tricks and got Oregon a few times, but there was some quick game that worked. There was some QB run game that worked. There was some zone read that worked. But Oregon's really fast. Oregon's really explosive. I think Dante Moore was like he had 4 touchdowns early on, and he was 10 of his first 11, and they just big play you. They really try to get it to the perimeter, and then try to get you over the top, and they just got speed all over the field. So, but I just go back to what Indiana did, probably the best defense they've seen all year. They held him to 10 points. They confused Dante Moore, and they sacked him 6 times. That's going to have to be part of your recipe here if you're going to advance. And we'll talk about that more as we go. But they're going to be, and they're you've got your own story going, but their motivation is, we were embarrassed. We had the bye last year. We were number 1 ranked, and we showed up and we got our ass kicked. We were embarrassed. We are doing this for ourselves, but also for last year's team, and we're trying to learn from it. We're trying to be motivated, but you're going to have both play callers and coordinators playing and coaching, or I guess coaching in a game that where their next job will drastically change like 24 hours after your game kicks off. And so you just wonder how much focus they will be, invested into the Ducks and all those kinds of things. So I don't know, a lot going on there, but we'll see. But yeah, matchup is set. We'll see everybody in Miami, right?
Looking forward to it. Got about a week and a half to get ready for the Ducks.
Yeah. It's going to come quick now.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
We know how Christmas time flies once you get into true holiday mode, and then on the other side, it's business.
Because the team will leave a week from when people are viewing or watching this. Team will leave a week from today, and then return back right after the game because that aforementioned portal opens up, and you've got some things going on that day. But you also hopefully are getting ready for the next game too, and a return trip to Atlanta. I say return trip, but just another trip, I should say, to Atlanta. So, man, it feels real though. I don't know what your thoughts were when you started that CFP logo on everything, and just the different way that it's portrayed to you, and you could just tell the stage is bigger. it's just crazy that Texas Tech is involved in all this stuff, and that other people aren't, if we're being honest.
Correct, including some who were ejected over the weekend. I can't believe 50 Cent didn't inspire them. It didn't work. One of the most embarrassing displays you've ever seen didn't work.
I knew they were in trouble when I saw Ty Simpson, the Alabama quarterback, over there. Like, he was getting it. He was feeling it.
I've seen that a couple of times. I'll be watching like between 3rd and 4th with Jones. Like, oh wait, shut it off. We're pumping them up. They're getting fired up. The other guy, shut the music off. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Always the portal.
Yeah.
Any other shit we can talk on these guys? Anything?
And the last thing before we get out, I want to mention a few things. At the time that you are watching this is all we know at the time, but I think Dylan Spencer and Price Morgan have suggested they're going to enter the portal. Price's brother Peyton is going to be, I think, a mainstay around this program. I think Price played in a couple games this year. Dylan Spencer didn't really play much at all. He's recovering from a really devastating knee injury from a year ago. So just be paying attention out there. Is that we've laid this out there. This is when here in a day or so is when these players will be given a break and kind of get a few days around Christmas. This is when they get around their support systems, and we'll see who's in the boat, who's out of the boat, all those kinds of things. And then the last tidbit is, since we last talked, Josh Hoover, TCU quarterback, has entered the portal, probably going to go to Indiana. That means that I think 7 of your 9 conference opponents next year will have a brand new quarterback with Hoover leaving. And only Connor Wegman and Noah Fafita are the only 2 that would return as we know it now. So Interesting. Lots of movement going on, but hey man, you've got some movement too. In fact, I think you play at Cincinnati, and rumor has it they will have a new quarterback. So maybe that'll be an interesting game when you go up to Cincinnati next year. I don't know. We shall see.
Old friends, nothing like them. Chris,
and cinnamon and spaghetti.
That's right. I appreciate your time. As always, man, hope you guys will hang with us this week out there. We'll be working on the fly, holiday time, traveling time, etc. But get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss a thing as we begin the ramp up to the Orange Bowl. Chris, appreciate you, man. Enjoyed it, and we'll see you for the next one.
Guns up, people. Never a doubt, man. In sports, ain't they the best? Sometimes not. But this time, this is all pretty good. It's all pretty good. All right. We'll talk to everybody next time.
Thank you to the everydayers for always riding along. And, of course, the Matador Mob. Appreciate all the pictures texted from the NYC from those mobsters on the scene. Don't ask any questions. Forget about it. A couple of them got wrapped up in a different kind of crew. Sort of wild story, but that's for a different episode. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. Hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.